Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fit and fine. So dear students, as you know that we have finished poem 1 My Mother at 66 by Kamla Das. Line by line explanation has been done. Main points of the poem we have discussed and we have also practiced stanza based questions. Now today we are going to discuss poem An Elementary Classroom in a Slum, written by Stephen Spender. Okay dear students, so let us begin. So first of all, I am going to write down the main points of the poem. So what are the points which we must remember? Points to remember. Points to remember in this poem we are going to discuss. So as we know dear students, the poet Stephen Spender, he pioneered a poetic movement in the 1930s. As a poet, he was sensitive and alive to the contemporary social and political problems. The poem An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum is perhaps the best example of Stephen's political voice resonating throughout a poem. This poem has been written during the time of civil rights movement in the United States. This poem is fitting both in its contemporary this poem is fitting both in its commentary about race issues in American education and as a socialist proclamation against capitalism and social injustice in general. The poet has done away with regular rhythm to denote social disorder, confusion and chaos. So theme of the poem is the poet talks about the inequality prevailing in primary education, which has reduced the children of slums to children of a lesser God. So what are the main points of the poem? Line by line explanation already has been done. So you have gone through the poem already. So today we are going to discuss the points which we must remember in this poem. First one is what the poet described. So the poet describes the miserable condition. The poet describes the miserable condition. The poet describes the miserable condition of the children in a school located in a slum. Condition of the children in a school located in a slum. Okay. So the poet, in this poem, the poet describes the miserable condition of the children in a school located in a slum. The children are malnourished. The poet tells us they are malnourished, ill and exhausted, ill and exhausted. Okay. So the poet describes the miserable condition of the children in a school located in a slum. They are malnourished, ill and exhausted. Okay, I am going to rub it. I hope you have taken the screenshot. So dear students, we are discussing the important points which we must remember in the poem. Further, the poet tells us that their physical and mental growth are stunted. Their physical and mental growth, their physical and mental growth are stunted. Okay. Further, the poet tells us that the donations on walls of the classroom, the donation on the walls of the classroom give us a glimpse of prosperity. Give us a glimpse of prosperity which is in sharp contrast to their weak grim, which is in sharp contrast to their weak, grim, hollow and pathetic lives. To their weak, grim, hollow students. So the poet tells us their physical and mental growth are stunted, are prevented, and they are the victim of malnutrition, they are underfed. The donations on the walls of the classroom give us a glimpse of prosperity which is in sharp contrast to their weak, grim, hollow and pathetic lives. Now dear students, I am going to rub it. Now, further, the poet tells us even Shakespeare's bust, even Shakespeare's bust even Shakespeare's bust, images of world maps building, images of world map buildings with domes or beautiful Tyrolese valley with domes or beautiful Tyrolese valley or beautiful Tyrolese valley do not suffer any hope for the children, do not offer any hope for the children as they are poor, underfed, and deprived in every way, in every way. Okay, so even Shakespeare's bust, the upper part of the body, bust, the sculpture of a person's head, the sculpture of a person's head. Okay, shoulder or chest, right? Shoulder or chest. The upper part of the body is called bust. So even Shakespeare's bust, images of world map, buildings with domes and beautiful Tyro's Valley, which are there in that classroom, but it is of no use for the children because these maps of civilized world were just imposed on them. It does not offer them any hope. It does not offer the children any hope. And because they are poor, underfed and deprived in every way. So that is why it does not offer them any hope. So this image of Shakespeare's bust, images of the world map, buildings with domes, or beautiful Tyro's Valley of Austria, pictures of which are there in that slum classroom, do not offer them any hope, as they are poor and deprived in every way. So I hope you have either taken the screenshot or you have written it. I am going to rub it. You can also pause the video and write it down. Next, dear students, catacombs symbolize an underground cemetery. Catacombs symbolize darkness and illiteracy. Catacombs symbolize darkness and illiteracy. Catacombs symbolize darkness and illiteracy which surrounds the children, which surrounds these children, but proper education will enlighten their lives. But proper education will enlighten their lives. So further, dear students, the poet says that catacombs, the underground cemetery, here symbolize darkness and illiteracy which surrounds the children, but if they are given proper education, quality education, then it will enlighten their lives. The map is a bad example. The map is a bad example as it tempts them as it tempts them to aspire for the world, to aspire for the world which is unreachable for them, which is unreachable for them. So dear students, the map is a bad example. Why the map is a bad example? Because the map shows the civilized world. It shows the civilized and educated world. It does not show these slum children's condition. Okay, so the map is bad example as it tempts them to aspire for the world which is unreachable for them. The map is a bad example because it make them ambitious to achieve the things which are unreachable for things. So that is why the map is bad example. So now I am going to rub it. They look like captives. They look like captives. They look like captives within the dirty walls of the classrooms. Within the dirty walls of the classroom. However, the real world, their real world, however, their real world is outside the windows of the classroom, is outside the windows windows of the classroom. And they need an exposure to the outside world. And they need an exposure to outside world. Okay, dear students, so further the poet says that these children, this stands for these children who are sitting in a slum classroom. So they look like captives, prisoners. They look like prisoners within the dirty walls of the classroom. However, their real world is the outside of windows of classroom, and they need an exposure to outside world. They must be taken to the outside world. They must get opportunity to go to the outside world, because their real world is there. So there they can get opportunity. Okay. So I hope you have taken the screenshot. You can also pause the video and write down. I am going to rub it. Further, the poet says that in the long run, these children will be able to reap. In the long run, these children will be able to reap the benefits, will be able to reap the benefits and rewrite the history of power and rewrite the history of powers, rewrite the history of power with development and prosperity, with development and prosperity. So in the long run, children will be able to reap the benefits and rewrite the history of power with development and prosperity if they are given a chance. If these children are given a chance, if they come outside the world, then they can make history if they are given a chance. Okay? So it's all about today's class, dear students. Tomorrow we will be continuing with this chapter in next video too, and we will discuss the poetic devices used in this poem. We will also be practicing stanza based questions. So thank you students for watching this video. See you tomorrow.